How's it going? So this last year I've gotten into, film photography. Got 3 film cameras. I'm always looking to get another camera, but I have to stop myself because I've already got 3 and there's really no point in having that many cameras. This is my favorite one. This is the one I like the most. I like it the most because it is completely mechanical. This doesn't take any batteries. It doesn't have a light meter inside, so you don't even have a battery for that. I like the purity of it. When I first received it, there was no lens. It had a little engine. The engine has batteries if you want to take, rapid fire shots. It's not what I want this camera for, so I took this off. There's a little, this little plate here that you see here. This goes on the bottom of the camera. I don't know how to get it off of here, so I had to buy a new one. Parts for these cameras are really expensive, more expensive than I'm willing to pay for like perfect aesthetics. So I ended up getting just a, I don't know what you call it, the bottom plate of this camera that doesn't match the black. I may just paint it to make it look better, but I got this one for like, I think, believe it or not, like $100. I think it's a lot more to get the black one. And I didn't want to spend the extra money. So I just want to share how I outfitted the camera. I needed to get a lens. I don't know if you've done any shopping for these Leica cameras, but the Leica lenses are really expensive. So I opted for a very good, not cheap, but less expensive Voigtlander 35mm f1.4. The one thing I do like about the f1.4 is that since it's wide open and you're shooting with film, if you're indoors, you really need to be able to open this up wide, because once you lock in the film, say you're shooting 400, which is not great for indoors, but you are, and you're stuck in an indoor situation, you're gonna need to open that thing wide up. You can't just change the ISO like on a digital camera. So I found for me that I like the f1.4. I'm currently shopping for, I may consider a Leica lens. This is a 35, so I think if I got a Leica lens, I'd probably get a 50, so I can shoot that other, the other focal length. But I thought I'd just go with one and stick with it. I like the 35mm for this camera because I tend to be in places where I'm gonna do like landscape photography. I still get people. The people that I shoot, I can get pretty close to if I want to. It doesn't have that punch in that you get with the 50mm, but for what I wanted this camera for, what I'm using it for, I like the 35mm. And they say you should get used to one focal length for a while anyways, and so I'm doing that. So I don't want to get into a review on the lens, but so far it's been really good. I'll share some shots here on the video that you can see with that. And then I wanted to get, this is kind of an expensive camera for an old 1980s film camera. So I like to use my stuff. I don't like to stick it away and put it on a shelf and not use it. So I thought I'd get it some protection. So I got this little half case. I bought this thing on Amazon. I think I got my price sheets here to give you an idea what I spent on this thing. This I got, it was like a leather. They sell stuff on Amazon. They're not even around anymore, but you can find these things. This is a leather half camera case. Got it for like 63 bucks. I like the way it looks. It's got kind of like the contrast white stitching on it. I think it makes the camera look really nice. Here's the profile of the camera without the case. It definitely slims down a bit, but I like the grip of the leather. I feel like I can beat the camera up a little bit more and not feel so guilty. Here's that little plate that I was telling you about that is like an aluminum instead of like a brass, or instead of a black coated brass or whatever they make these cameras out of. These cameras are heavy. I can't believe how this thing is a tank. I do hiking and backpacking, and sometimes I just take one camera. I want to take this, but it's when I have another camera, it's just heavy. I don't necessarily like to have this as my only camera, at least not yet, not right now with my skill set when I'm hiking, but it is a heavy camera. So the other thing I did with this is I wanted a strap. I went through a few straps. The strap that I like the most, because when I'm throwing this in a bag or taking it with me, I found that the bigger straps were just too much, too cumbersome, too bulky to get this into like a small case, because I didn't want to take the straps on and off all the time. So I got this is through a company called Evergreen. I'm a sucker for Facebook ads. Yeah, you probably can target me and I'll probably buy your stuff. I think there was a Facebook ad. It's leather, it's thin, yeah, it's very thin. So if you want a little bit more of that support, it's probably not what you want. I don't necessarily, I like it for what it is. The drawback for me is that I usually carry this thing over the shoulder and over the neck, through the arm like that. And it's a little bit tight on that. I wish it was just a little bit longer, but other than that, I like the sleek design. I like the way it looks. I think it gives it a nice vintage, clean look. So I really like that. I think it goes together well. I think this thing was somewhere in the range of like 27 bucks. Super cheap, really nice. The other thing that I needed to get for this camera was just a bag, right? So I ended up going with the Ranger, the Hex Ranger Mini. Of course, blackout camo, as you know, I'm a sucker for blackout camo. I have the bigger bag. Like the design, it's really functional. I found that this is perfect for rangefinder. It's just shallow enough. You just get it right in there. You can just strap in. You get whatever else maybe another lens or something like that. Your film. And then anything else that you want. So I found this bag works really good to go with my rangefinder. It slings really nice. It's low profile. I think it's a good matchup. These little bags don't work so great with like DSLRs or even some of your digital cameras with interchangeable lenses. It just doesn't fit that great. But if you got like a rangefinder type camera, I think this thing's ideal. So one of the things we talked about is that when you get this camera and there's no light meter, what do, right? So there's a couple ways. I went on the YouTube and looked that up. There's this thing called Cine 16. You basically match up the ASA or ISO of the film with the shutter speed, and then you if it's sunny, you crank the aperture all the way over to 16, and then depending on the light, you can pop it over to the other way. So if it's a little cloudy, you open it up a little bit more. If it's darker, you open it up a little bit more, and that's how you do it, like without a meter. It works. I got before I got my light meter in, I was going crazy with the camera, and I felt like I wanted to shoot, so that's what I did, and it worked. So what did I do? I did want a light meter. And that was a whole nother thing. So I ended up going with this. It's like they call it, TT Artisan makes some products. It's like this little light meter. It looks like this. You go ahead and you just got a little dial here, and that you match up your. I always want to call it ISO. I guess is it ISO, ASA, or your film ISO. And then it's got a little light. You just press the little button on the back, and then when the light just turns green, it's properly exposed. So this is really neat. It also can hook up to the hot shoe up here, so when you put it all together, it looks like that, right? That works pretty good. I grabbed my G7X Mark II, and I used the light meter in there, and it's pretty accurate. I found that there's times when it seems like it's get some misreads. It's okay. I'll just say it's okay. I think I paid, what did I pay for that thing? Let's see what I paid for that thing. For the TT, the meter, I paid $76, and you get what you pay for. It's all right. A little, if you're using Cine 16 and using that, you'll be okay. The lens that I got, this Voigtlander, this is about 600 bucks. I still really like it. I don't know any different as far as like going with a Leica type lens to see if what a difference that'll make in my pictures, if at all. But so far so good with this thing. For 600 bucks, that was a good investment. Didn't spend a grand, didn't spend $2,000. I'm still having a lot of fun. Now the other thing I did is once I started kind of taking pictures with this, I will tell you that the little $76 light meter was a little bit frustrating. Especially when there's things that are backlit. I've learned to make some adjustments. It's not necessary, but I thought, you know what? I'm starting to get into this. So I ended up getting, and I haven't used it yet, but I ended up getting one of the Sekonic light meters. I believe this is the Studio Deluxe 3. The reason I picked this one is because it's all analog, no batteries. And I like that because it goes with the camera, right? This is an analog camera, mechanical light meter. This is a lot more accurate than say this light meter is, and I think there's some, of course, some practice and such with that. So that's how I've kitted myself out. That's my camera kit. It added up to a few bucks in addition to the camera. So, like they say, you get the body and then you got to get everything else. So I don't know how you set yours up. This is how mine's kitted out. It's a lot of fun. I'll start sharing some photos as I go. I'll pop some on this video so you can take a look at the end of this video. Thanks a lot for checking it out. I don't know, just wanted to I'm geeking out on this stuff and I want to share with somebody. Nobody else I know likes this kind of stuff. So anyways, thanks a lot. Take care.